You know what's funny? Anytime you question the authority, the first people to rush to its defense are the ones who treat their degrees like divine credentials, as if God speaks louder to men with titles than men without. But here's the irony that history keeps shoving in our faces. It was the most formally educated religious leaders on earth who crucified Jesus, not the fishermen, not the tax collectors, not the untrained, the unpolished, the uncredentialed. It was the theologians, the certain ones, those who claim to know God and speak for Him. Formal learning can be a blessing, but too often it becomes ego wearing clerical collars. Degrees become dogma, and certainty becomes a drug. And the moment someone gets fluent in Greek or Hebrew or whatever, they start believing they've cornered the marketplace on the divine. But God has always chosen those who haven't been tampered with by the system, the ones who haven't been marinated in institutional bias, and the ones whose hearts weren't calcified by certainty. More often than not, the outsiders, John the Baptist, Jesus, his disciples, etc. Because when God said, "My word shall not pass away," He wasn't talking about a table of contents. And He wasn't talking about a canon voted on by bishops under a pagan emperor. And He wasn't talking about a book that didn't even exist in His lifetime. He was talking about the voice that whispers directly to the human heart, the truth that survives translations, survives opinions, survives empires, and survives religion. He was talking about His will, not our interpretations. God's communication is perfect, but the moment it hits human hands, mine, yours, anyone's, it gets filtered through biases, culture, fear, ego, agenda. So yes, the Bible does contain the Word of God, but the Bible is not God, nor is it perfect, because the men who wrote it weren't perfect, and pretending it is has done more harm than good. You want real faith? Then stop worshiping certainty. Stop weaponizing scholarship. Humility is the birthplace of revelation, and openness is the soil where real spirituality grows. And the moment anyone speaks about God with absolute certainty is the moment they miss the mark. Because the closer you get to God, the more honest you become about how little you actually know. And that brings me to one of my favorite lines, borrowed from the novelist Andre Gide. God, save us from the certain ones. That's what this whole thing is about with me and Wesley Huff, and those who see him as their David. Not fighting, not debating, not ego versus ego. Just a reminder that the divine is bigger than any book, any scholar, any religion, any institution, and any certainty. And that millions of us are simply trying to approach the throne of God with humility, not hubris.